Order, roll call.
Mayor Tonita Gurla Hiron,
Present.
Councilor David G. Romero,
Here.
Councilor Barbara Casey,
Here.
Councilor Vincent Howell,
Here.
Councilor David A. Ulibarri Jr.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have a quorum.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilor Howell, would you do 1 minute silence?
Please keep in mind and in your soul to help our community leaders, help our community businesses. And keep in mind the people, the community members that we have lost. So sad when they leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Approval of the agenda?
Madam Mayor,
Mm-hmm.
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilor Ulibarri Jr.,
Yes.
Councilor Romero,
Yes.
Councilor Howell,
Yes.
Councilor Casey.
Yes.
I have a motion by Councilor Casey and a second by Councilor Howell. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mayor, councilors, the next item on the agenda is public input. We have Kira Geisler, who plans to speak about circuses. You can come up to.
Materials first. Just
Oh, this is all one?
Thank you.
This is for the record.
Can they look at it as it's like
Okay, thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas City Council. I would like to begin by thanking you for this opportunity. My name is Kira Geisler, and I'm a student at the United World College. Last week, it came to our attention that Carson and Barnes Circus was coming to the Santa Fe Trail Center, also known as Zamora Arena, on May 2nd and May 3rd. We did some research on the circus, and it came to our attention that the circus uses Asian elephants. Upon further research, we found a long list of animal abuse and neglect committed by the circus, which in some cases has even resulted in the fines of $16,000 needing to be paid to the USDA. More compelling, however, were videos of trainers sinking bull hooks, long sticks with sharp-pointed ends, into the bodies of the elephants until they screamed in pain. These documented cases of animal abuse are not specific to Carson and Barnes Circus. They are standard practice in the circus industry. Aside from pure animal abuse, the nature of the business itself is unnatural and harmful to both animals and humans. Since 2000, there have been more than 35 cases of elephants bolting from circuses, attacking members of the public, and even killing and injuring their handlers. Furthermore, about 96% of a circus animal's life is spent in a cage or in chains. This causes psychological trauma to these animals, which is displayed by unnatural behavior such as repeated swaying. This is the exact behavior we saw elephants at Carson and Barnes Circus displaying as we demonstrated outside of their show on Friday evening. From outside of the fence, we were able to see the chained elephants contained in a space no larger than a room and watch them sway back and forth constantly. One elephant walked with a limp, and when standing, never placed his back right foot on the ground. This was a sobering reminder of exactly what we do not want in our community. We handed out flyers to circus goers with information on the animal abuse the circus has committed, as well as ways they can still help these animals in spite of having bought a ticket. In addition to this demonstration, we also made a petition urging our local governments to no longer permit the circuses. When making the petition, we were told that the county was the group that issues permits to these circuses, as we were not aware that Zamora Arena was annexed to be part of the city. Now we are under the understanding that it's actually the responsible of the city council. While we may not fully understand whose responsibility it is, the sentiment still remains. In front of you, you will see a petition signed by over 1,000 people expressing that they do not want these circuses to come to our Las Vegas community. This is why I ask for you to do all that is in your power to prevent these circuses from returning to Vegas. It is local action like this that will ultimately result in the liberation of these animals. Many local governments have already banned circuses with exotic animals. Two examples from our own state include Las Cruces and Santa Fe. As more pressure from the public increases, we can expect there to be a nationwide ban sometime in the future. Once again, we ask you to do all that is in your power to stop these circuses from coming. Let's stand on the right side of history and streamline this inevitable change by preventing these circuses from holding a place here. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I provided all of you with my contact information and with the sources of my statistics. I, as well as all of those who have signed the petition, would greatly appreciate a follow-up as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
That concludes public input.
Okay,
Mayor and
thank you.
Council. Our next item on the agenda is discussion items. Under discussion items, the first discussion item is the crack sealing project on Mills Avenue from Grand Avenue to Hot Springs Boulevard. The total amount of the project is $61,844.37. Daniel Goudelet from Public Works will present and be available for questions.
Thank you very much,
Madam
Daniel.
Mayor, Council members, I was seeking the approval of crack sealing for Mills Avenue from Grand to Hot Springs. Right now, we actually getting the road, trying to prolong it, which crack sealing will help it to prolong the life expectancy of it, which will go 5 to 7 years longer. It's going to be Dismuke Construction, which they're the only contractors in New Mexico that actually does crack sealing. They do all the state's crack sealing within the state. And they're on state contracts, so that's why we're going to use them. If not, we would have had to outsource this out of Colorado or whoever else does it. Stand for any questions.
Questions, comments? Councilor Howell?
Thank you, Mayor. Daniel, from Grand at Mills, right?
Yeah.
Where the park
Yeah.
is? Okay.
And
Are there any potholes along Grand to Mills? I mean, from
there is a few
Grand to
potholes
Hot
right in
Springs?
front of Robertson and stuff like
I'm
that.
sorry?
There is a few potholes in front of Robertson and stuff like that. But they'll go ahead and let us know what we have to do as far as to address those, and then they'll go ahead and crack seal. So there is a few just right there in Robertson's, basically the only one. The rest of the road is pretty good, but it is starting to show wear with cracks and stuff. And we do got to get it, and it'll help prolong the road, the life
But-
expectancy.
But Grand Avenue to Hot Springs, isn't that the DOT?
No, they gave it to us. It's been a good while already. We're the ones that maintain it right now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Only New Mexico Avenue and
New
Grand
Mexico,
Avenue, correct?
Grand, and 7th Street from Mills up is the DOT's.
Okay. And, and from Grand to Hot Springs, there are no potholes?
There's a few, but we address those when it comes down to it. We are addressing them now, but when Bismuth comes in, they're gonna address all of them. If we have to do anything on our part, we'll go ahead and they're taking care of pretty much everything. I mean, we want to get it before moisture starts getting underneath and it starts making bigger potholes is basically what we're looking for.
Are we going inside Mills? I mean,
Both sides, all 4 lanes.
of Grand?
Yeah, no, of Mills Avenue. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm confused, I'm sorry.
All of Mills,
all
from
of-
Grand all the way to Hot Springs, on both sides, they're doing all of it, the 4 lanes. They'll be
Alright.
crack sealing.
Oh, I see, okay, Grand Avenue and Mills, you're going up
Yeah.
past
up
McDonald's
Goes west, yeah.
to Allsup's, which
Yeah,
is
there you
where,
go.
okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
I thought you
All
were
4
going
lanes is
just
gonna
down
get
there.
crack sealed.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Question, okay, thank you. Councilor Romero.
I just had a question is, how did you determine this was the road with the most need for crack seal?
We had Bismuth come out when we first thought about getting this, because we did go through the asset management. They talked to the engineer that was there that said he actually, how do you put it? The best way to prolong the life expectancy of a road and the cheapest way to maintain the road is crack sealing. So we had them, they said no charge, they go out and assess the roads and see what roads can actually be crack sealed. And since Mills is actually one of the better roads that we have that they can crack seal, so they actually went out and assessed the road before they gave us a quote on it.
answered my question.
Thank you very much. Counselor Casey.
Since I don't know anything about paving or anything like that, so they remove, I mean, if there's a crack, they remove everything from
Yeah,
there
they're
and then
gonna go
fill
ahead
it
and-
with
It's-
asphalt and,
Yeah, it's like a sticky tar type thing is what it is, no?
Yeah.
And it turns like rubbery, but it'll help from water seeping into it and creating
a bigger,
a bigger, or going into a pothole is basically what will happen after that, no?
okay. Just clarification for me. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, what is the pleasure of the board?
Consent
Oh,
agenda?
consent? Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, councilors, the next item on discussion is the discussion of the request for bid number 2019-10 for the solid waste tipping fees. And to present tonight is Maria Gilberry, Utilities Director, who will present and be available for questions.
Good evening, Mayor, councilors.
Thank you, Ms.
I'm here to present today on the bid that we solicited for solid waste tipping fees, solid waste tipping services. We had two respondents, Wagon Mound GGH, or GGH out of Wagon Mound, which is our current provider, and Waste Management of New Mexico out of Rio Rancho. We had also contacted Estancia, who was a previous backup provider of landfill services, and they did not submit a bid, but they had been contacted. We did advertise in the Optic, the Albuquerque Journal, and on the city's website. The two bidders that did respond, Waste Management of New Mexico, came back at $2.06 less expensive than Wagon Mound, but due to the distance, to Wagon Mound, or excuse me, due to the distance to Rio Rancho, along with mileage, wear and tear, the actual overall cost of a trip is less expensive to Wagon Mound than it is to Rio Rancho. In addition, one of my vehicles can get to Wagon Mound and back in a little over a 2-hour period, approximately 2-hour period. It would be about a 5-hour period to and from Rio Rancho, which would mean we would most likely not be able to keep up with the amount of trash that we have in our transfer station. We can make 3 trips with one vehicle to Wagon Mound, where we would only be able to make 1 trip in a normal work day. So my request to the council is to approve Wagon Mound as our primary landfill, but we would also like Waste Management of New Mexico out of Rio Rancho as our secondary landfill. Due to high winds in the Wagon Mound area, there are several times when we can't deliver to Wagon Mound due to winds, and Rio Rancho informed us that they're open most of the time. They're very rarely shut down due to winds. So having them as a backup would be tremendously beneficial to the city. In the past, we did have GGH as the primary and Estancia as the secondary. So my request to the council today is approval for awarding the bid to GGH and secondary to Waste Management.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions, comments?
Okay. So,
Counselor Casey?
thank you. The Waste Management, the Wagon Mound per ton is $27.40,
Yes.
and the other is $25.34.
34, yes.
If you combine all of those with the number of, let's say, just for Wagon Mound, the number of trips, fuel for the trucks and all of that, how much does a trip cost?
So I took it down to one trip, and you should have a bid tabulation. It looks like this. It would be page 1. I don't know where it would fall into your packet, but there is a bid tabulation. It looks like.
Okay, I see it.
And so one trip to Wagon Mound would take 2 hours and would cost $630, an estimated $630. That's for the cost of disposal of a full truckload plus 50 cents per mile for the travel. The cost to Rio Rancho is going to be $672.70 for one trip for disposal of the exact same amount of trash. So for disposing one truckload of trash, Wagon Mound is less expensive.
So, how many trips do you do a month?
Do On average, I would say we do about 8 to 10 trips per week. So we're talking 40 trips roughly per month. It does depend on the amount of trash we have. We do try and keep the transfer station completely empty. That way it's always open for whenever we do have an unplanned event. So that's a rough estimate that I do about 10 trips per week.
Okay, so we have that money already budgeted and?
Yes, ma'am, yes. Every year we do budget nearly $400,000 for tipping fees for the year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? What's the pleasure of the board? Consent? Okay, consent. Thank you very much, Ms. Gilbert.
Mayor, councilors, the next item for discussion is Resolution 19-20, authorizing the application and submission of a New Mexico Community Development Block Grant Program to the Department of Finance and Administration. Presenting today is Virginia Marujo, who will stand for questions.
Good evening, Ms. Marujo. How are you?
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council.
Hello.
So today we're bringing forth the Resolution 19-20. It's for the CDBG grant application. In order to put the application, we do have to have the resolution. And we've brought this forward with other information previously, but now we're to the point where we do have to submit the application. The deadline is June 20th.
Questions, comments? Councilor Casey.
Quick question, Ms. Marujo. Wasn't the original thought to use the money to pave Hot Springs Boulevard, but going that way instead of that way?
No,
Towards the state hospital at first? I thought that was the first idea for the application.
No, well, as far as I've been working, it's been from Mora to Vermillion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because maybe I misunderstood, but I really thought that when it was first mentioned, almost a year ago, I think, that it would be from Mills Avenue to, towards the state hospital.
And I believe this one is actually part of the ICIP.
Yeah, that's why I think it,
Yeah,
came
and
to
I
mind.
think in there it says Mora to Vermillion also.
okay, thank you, that's all.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Consent.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, councilors, that concludes the discussion portion.
Okay.
I have nothing for executive session.
Okay, thank you very much. We need a motion to adjourn.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Do we have a second? Okay. Roll call?
Counselor Romero?
Yes.
Counselor Howell?
Yes.
Counselor Casey?
Yes.
Counselor Gilabri Jr.?
Yes.
A motion by Counselor Casey and a second by Counselor Gilabri Jr. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.